Hi, and welcome to Geeks for Geeks. Today we would be doing a little bit of different kind of stream. Like this would continue for the next 21 days. Like the last year, the 21 days habit building workshop was done entirely by me, but this year too it would be done by me. So it had started Pathshala online learning. Okay, so good evening, everyone. I'm Siddharth Hazra. Currently, I'm an SD at Geeks for Geeks. Besides that, I'm a Canadian master, and for the past 3 to 4 years, I have been teaching. Hi Massimo, hi Greg, hi Neha Vishkar, hi Kiran Shinde. So the it's absolutely a huge after a long period of time, like entirely around after 4 months, I saw this big crowd. So at least just quickly like the video. Let me just check the number of likes in this video, and it should be very high. Okay, like to banda hai na. SD Shah. No. My name is Siddharth Hazra, and I like to be called as Sid or Bhaiya. इतना बूढ़ा नहीं हो यार चिल करते हैं Okay, can you please increase the number of likes? Okay, don't call me sir. I'm not used to be called as sir. How to build DSA logics and all. Okay, and we would talk about that and all. Hi Kiran Shinde, how are you? Okay, so fair enough. So let us first talk about what this is all about. So people who already joined in the last year, 21 days of habit building workshop, it is kind of very simple. Okay, like very similar to that, very akin to that. But people who are not acquainted with the last time, the thing is that in this live stream, we would do a regular problem solving from 8 to 10 every day. Okay. Now, what about the scenario when after the 21 days have been dissolved? Okay, this is the most. Can you please increase the sound? Okay, just let me check. उतना तो कर ही सकते हैं. Okay, just give me a sec. Let me just like this should increase the sound. Okay, fair enough. Now quickly confirm that if my sound is now okay or not. Okay, which was this person? क्या आपके टूथपेस्ट में नमक है? क्लोजअप यूज करता हूँ तो आई एम नॉट रियली श्योर कि नमक है कि नहीं. ओके भैया आप पर्सनल गाइडेंस करते हो. इट्स लाइक आई डू फ्रीलांसिंग but a cost is little bit high because earlier I used to do freelancing, like the rates were absolutely less, but now I have two things to handle: my SD job as well as this teaching thing, and then I also have a personal life. So to segregate, or I can say that like to streamline the process, I take very less freelancing. Okay, by the way, Pawan, this is not me who is providing this course. This is Geeks for Geeks team who is providing this course. Ha, ye acha hai. Hi said bhaiya bhaiya. Okay, this is good. Okay, how long would be the stream? The stream would be around 2 hours, but the first stream would cross 2 hours. Like it would be around 2.25 or 2.5 hours. Okay, so 2024 batch, I didn't have knowledge about DSA. Okay, like you don't need to mention your batch. I am 2023 batch pass out. I passed out this year. So your batch doesn't really define your knowledge. The very next thing is I would try to keep the stream as beginner friendly as possible. Okay, could be better mic. Okay, loud and clear. Okay, fair enough. Up to better है इससे क्या better कर सकता हूँ? Okay, better than before. Okay, so okay, just let me do one thing. Let me just turn off the fan. Then it would be better. Okay, so now I think it should be much better. Mic volume is at max, and yep, it should be now better. Your educations, I recently graduated from Netaji Subhash Engineering College. From the last more than 2 years, I have been with Geeks for Geeks. Okay, do we need laptop for this session? I think you should have a laptop for this session, but it is not mandatory. How much does DSA is required for service-based companies? The scenario was the scenario was different earlier, but the scenario has changed in the recent times. Even the service-based companies do demand a good knowledge over DSA. Like I can say, like the basic DP they do ask. Okay, how long would be the stream? It is done. Which language is used for solving the DSA problem? As far as I know, the mentors that would be taking the stream, they primarily code in C++. But the extraction of language to another language is very easy. Nowadays, you even have the chat GPT where you can just take the code and you can just paste it and that would solve the purpose. Okay, today's session would be which language? CPP. But if you need help with Java, make sure you ask in that instant and I would just help you with that. Okay, we want to learn Java for DSA. No issues. I belong from a ICSE. I belong from an ICSE background. I started off with Java, so I don't know about other mentors. But me and Yash Trivedi are comfortable with Java too. Okay, Java में भी कर देंगे. No issues. If you want, I can do in Java also. In which language? Java, C++, both language it would be done. Okay, fair enough. I would. Is this being recorded? Will be shared after? Yes, absolutely. How many questions we would solve daily? Three problems. Which language are we using? Done. Did it be regular? Yes. Java, C++, both. एक ही बार लिखो. See, I want you to just reply once so that I would be able to reply everyone. Okay. Yes, sir. Keep it verified. I will. That's my way. Okay. Can working professional also join this 21 days boot camp? Yes, I think so. Being myself a working professional, most of the working professional who has a day shift are free at around 8 to 10. After 10 they can have their dinner and like while having the dinner they can attend the stream also. So I think they should also join so that they would also have a habit of it. Okay, please help and guide me to 21 days. That's my job. You don't need to say please. Yeah, true. Like it's very simple. Like I don't have any special things in my room. Okay. अब मजा आएगा ना बेडू ऐसे टी ऐसे लर्न कर चलो चिल रखते हैं सब लोग चिल रखते हैं आराम से करते हैं is it in not JavaScript? No, bro. It's not in JavaScript. But still, if you want, I can do. Being a web developer, like being a backend developer at Geeks for Geeks, I'm good with Java too. JavaScript too. Do you live in PG? No, I don't live in PG. I live in a flat in Noida. Like basically, it's called a society. The name of the society is Logics Blossom Green. चलो इतना बता दिया. अब फ्लैट नंबर ना पूछना. Prerequisite is nothing but the basic iteration, like the loops and all, and the if statement, and the basic syntax of the code is enough to move forward. Voice is really good. Okay, from the mic or mine? कौन सा बता रहे? Do you live in Delhi NCR? No, I don't live in Delhi NCR. I live at Sector 143 at Noida. My office is in Sector 136 at Noida. Out good, sir? Okay. Is this but मिलने आना पड़ेगा इतना पूछ लिया अब तो मिलने आना पड़ेगा. Okay, can you turn on the fan? You can turn on the fan. No, bro, it's fine. Bear 2x, please. 2x. No, 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 no. My speed is absolutely a little bit slow, but I don't have a laptop. It's absolutely fine. You can just jot it down in a pen and paper and you can move forward. How to become pro after 21 days. This is very important. Okay, so see, after done with 21 days, like in 21 days, if you multiply it by 3, let me just show you the real mathematics. Okay, 21 multiplied by 3 would be 63 problems. And then you would be also given 3 problems as a homework. Okay, so that would be solving 126 problem in the next 121 days. After solving 126 problem of DSA, you are good enough to give contest. Okay, and the contest generally happens at 8 to 10. Why? Because it is a universal time and it is a universal time, which is like most of the contest out there, online contest, they follow this. So what you can do is, what I basically do is to keep up with the habit of coding. Just give me a sec. Okay, So to keep up with the habit of coding, what you can do is after 21 days, you can just start giving contest. Okay, just keep a track of all the contest. You can use CP calendar for that. If you don't know how to integrate that as your Chrome extension, consider asking me on LinkedIn. I would just do it. Okay, if you're not able to find. Okay, but the very next thing is try to give contest. Okay, try to give contest, and the days you are not giving the contest, try to upsolve the problem. When did you started your coding journey, DSA journey? I started my DSA journey when I got like the first day in college. I was influenced by my batchmate who was a little bit good at DSA. So my main aim was to just be in like best of the college. And then gradually I moved forward. Is this for working professional? Yes. We want Python DSA. Mm, Python DSA is much more easier, and like it is very easy. You can ask me the syntax and all, and I would pretty good to figure forward. Only questions? No, absolutely not. The concepts involved in the question would be taught, and then okay. So make it in C. Uh, C doesn't have the support for STL, so it would become a little bit lengthy, and solving three problems every day on a live stream with just C would be a little bit difficult. Just made an honest reply to that. Okay, we want to learn. Okay, can we build and become a good? This is done. We want Python DSA. अरे पूछ लेना ना जहाँ प्रॉब्लम होगा ask me. Why not in JavaScript? Because still the primary language for DSA is C++, Java, Python. Let's say you code in JavaScript. So suppose you're coding in JavaScript and you're not able to find a solution. So you would go out there on the internet, and if you're a self-taught programmer, you would see the editorials. Most of the editorials would consist of either of these three languages, C++, Java, or Python. And there is a very rare probability that the JavaScript code is also given. So as of now, the current trend, if you have not started, don't start with JavaScript for DSA. How you started teaching at GFG? Like I I was trying to get into GFG because GFG hires based on skills, like what the main scenario was. Like if I just tell you the honest one, like I had a senior. Okay, I would be more than happy to take the name. Why can't I take the name? Okay, I had a senior as Sandeep. Okay, not Sandeep Jan. His name is Sandeep Singh. Okay, his name was Sandeep Singh, and he used to work as a teaching assistant from his second year. So my main aim was like I belong from a private college. Okay, so the expense is a little bit high, and the people out there are a little bit extravagant. So to keep up with that, my main goal was to just get into Geeks for Geeks, because they are the organization who hire very early based on your knowledge, not your degree. So my main aim was to just get into GFG. So initially I was just trying my hard enough to get as a teaching assistant in GFG, but gradually they ended that position. And then I was also interviewed for content engineering. Then I was not able to make it. That was my third month of my preparation. Then gradually, a team from Geeks for Geeks approached me, and then I gave the interview, and I was able to set pass it. And then gradually, I shifted my domain to SD because मैं SD बनने ही निकला था. But still, I don't want to leave my passion for teaching, because my father and mother both are teachers, and I come from a teaching background. So teaching मुझे easy और happy thing लगता है. So इसी वजह से I just want to be consistent in both. How to be consistent in for DSA? Solve at least a single problem every day. Okay, most welcome. Okay. Okay. What level we would stand after 21 days? If you follow the stream religiously, and if you solve 126 problem, then I can say that you would complete at least 30% of the DSA. Daily this time only start? Yes, daily it would happen at 8 to 10. Tomorrow I won't be taking, because I have a stream at Jace for Geeks practice channel, the post contest tutorial for that. Any tips for BSA 2024 Passing out batch. Uh, be very good at what you are doing. I'm from a tier 3 college, doesn't matter. I am from a tier 3 college too, Netaji Subhash Engineering College in Kolkata. It's not the Netaji Subhash Institute of Technology. It's Netaji Subhash Engineering College at Kolkata. And you can see it for yourself. It is a tier 3 or tier 2 or tier 1. Please use C++. I will. Prerequisite. Hi sir, just arrived. No issues. Okay, we need Python DSA. Please don't do it. I have already explained it. I don't have a lab. How to solve a problem? It's fine. Just write the approach in a pen and paper. When you have it, solve it. Will it be free or paid? Free. बस लाइक कमेंट शेयर करना और घर पे मिठाई भेज देना, चॉकलेट भेज देना अगर अच्छा लगा तो. How to cover JavaScript? To get a job, JavaScript is good or React? JavaScript is much better because JavaScript paves the way for Angular also, React also. So if you're very good at JavaScript, a position who has an opening for React, a position who has an opening for Angular, both would consume you. So I think, how can I expect from 21 days? Done. How valuable is coding even after ChatGPT? How valuable is coding in the market, even ChatGPT? Okay, this would take around 2 or 3 minutes. So just like J plus plus, 2 3 like I just want to know the voting system of this. Just write J plus plus. If I find more than 5 J plus plus, I would just uh, answer this because it would take around 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, Java DS is there. Yes. Prerequisite क्या होना चाहिए? Done. Already told you. How many questions are enough for any product-based companies? So for a product-based companies, the backend knowledge, or I can say the DSA and the algorithm, the DSA knowledge of the questions of around 300 problems are good enough to get into a product-based companies, but that entirely depends on your problem-solving skills and the amount of knowledge you were able to comprehend. You are cute. Thank you, man. Is dynamic programming will cover in this bootcamp? I think so. I have still not checked out all the problems, if I'm being honest. I'm not the one who is setting out the problems out there. But I think it should involve dynamic programming. So what if you don't know C++? कोई बात नहीं, पूछ लिया करो, मैं बता दूंगा. उसी काम के लिए मैं हायर हुआ, उसी काम के लिए मैं आया हूँ लाइफ. If you don't know it, ask me. That's what for I'm here. Okay? I rarely skip questions. How to get job in 3 months? Best roadmap share. I don't think I should bring another roadmap into the market because there are readily available roadmaps out there on the market, and I think you can just take up either of them. But I think that instead of following roadmaps out there, you should complete your CS fundamentals, you should complete your dev, and you should be very good at DSA. This is the simple roadmap. Prerequisite already told. Which language is best for DSA bhaiya? As of now, the most simple language and the most widely accepted language is C++, which also has the STL support, and it is very good. Who should join this DSA? CodeCamp. A person who is not consistent with DSA, a person who wants to get into DSA, and the person who wants to take a flavor, like he is very much into development and he wants to take a dip into DSA and want to know that if DSA is cup of tea or not. By the way, I just read the very cool line in the article when I was going through. So next time when someone says programming is not my cup of tea, just tell him programming is not anything like a tea. It's like an espresso coffee, and only the one who regularly consumes it will like it. This is very up to the point, and this is just mentioned at the last of the article. Kudos to the one who wrote this article, and like I found it flattering, to be honest. Okay, any tips? हो गया. It's really hot on the fan. It would be better for you. Actually, it's, to be honest, if I'm just being honest, it's fine enough because Like I turned on my AC initially and it's a little bit cold as of now. In the next 10 or 15 minutes, if it gets hot, I would just turn on the AC. And that would be. ओके सिर्फ पवन कल्याण का ही कमेंट पढ़ रहे हैं ऐसा नहीं है ब्रो आपका ही पढ़ रहा हूँ गौतम कुमार पिछले बार भी आपका एक पढ़ चुका हूँ आज भी आपका पढ़ रहा हूँ एंड बाय द वे आई एम स्ट्रेट सो ऐसा नहीं है कि मैं सिर्फ पवन कल्याण पे ही फोकस कर रहा हूँ please tell a bit about yourself Afsana Praveen okay so you can just go a little back in the front and then you can just hear me again because people who have already heard won't like it how to get okay this is done I deleted default value start for the day one problems will you start from day one problem solving problems yes absolutely how much time this session this is done rent secret how many questions? Like Noida is a little bit costly here. Okay, how many questions are enough for an internship? For an internship, it entirely depends. Like what kind of internship? If you are just sitting for an internship which is very development focused, like it depends on the role also. Like machine learning, less DSA is good enough. Why DSA play important role? Because it teaches you what is coding, it teaches you debugging and everything. DSA with Python, please कर दूंगा bro कर दूंगा अब घर पहुंच जाएंगे आ जाओ भाई कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है इट्स एब्सोल्युटली फाइन विद मी like I'm very low on social life like I have a mediocre social life where do we pay for free chocolate khilana tips for first year student this is very interesting don't directly jump into dev okay don't directly jump into dev do a lot like do DSA learn what is coding learn what is debugging and then jump to development at least see DSA first and then jump to development sir when will the session start क्यों अभी start नहीं हुआ मैं हिल नहीं रहा हूँ by the way it starts at 8 p.m. IST who should attend the course it's done we just completed second year yep absolutely it's important why you guys are asking please start no these are very important because like this is not irrelevant because if you are a self-taught programmer so your silly doubts you won't have anyone to so if you belong from a tier 3 college or even if you belong from a good college but you have like you are an introvert your silly doubts you won't be able to ask anyone you won't have a person with whom you can ask so मुझे ऐसा लगता है at this point of time when you are in your first and second year when you have your summer vacations going on these doubts if someone is answering you with experience it's very good like बहुत help करता है like to be honest someone told me in my college like why I told someone okay like let me just give you an instance if you you don't many people don't know this but I started off with development in my college days but and I thought that I'm very good with development I would surely get a job but I was sitting there in my with my friend and in my college we don't have a hostel designated hostel and there like seniors were living with my friend okay and seniors came and I showed him bhaiya dekho maine I made this and he told me that if you have the status then show me DSA how good you are at DSA okay and his name is Alek he was in fourth year when I was in my first year and he left the college and he told me in a positive way but I took in a very sporty manner and kind of I am here at this position because of that single line from that senior he was in a very positive mood but still I took it sportingly and because of that so कभी कभी important रहता है relevant talks भी कभी कभी दिमाग में hit कर जाती है which company are you working I'm currently an SD at Geeks for Geeks yep what about notes read any books regarding sir have you read any books if you read please suggest books competitive programmers handbook CP3 at least solve like at least know the basic syntax of either of them okay गर्मी है क्या उधर से बहुत ज्यादा बहुत ज्यादा बहुत ज़्यादा. Yep. Now we should start at this point. Like the queries are getting relevant. How many questions? See, this is done. Afterlife. Can AI replace developer? No, it can't. Never. Because they are the ones. Java. Yeah, bro. Java DSA पूछ लेना जब भी हो. No problem. Is this based on CP also? No, this is not based on CP, but it would give you a good head start to CP. It is basically setting you like this is DSA for placements. Will I be? No, no. It depends on your learning curve. Absolutely fine. This is the way. It's fine. How many hours you will take? How many hours you will take in one session? 2 hours. Today it would be a bit long because that is the first session. We have an upcoming placement. It's a full fan companies. Yes, it is. All the problems that we would be talking about, we would be doing that. Now, when you start replying the comments, I don't have a TA designated, but can you start yourself replying? Like if you already are with the stream, then can you start replying others so that my work would be reduced and I would be able. आप क्या कहते हो इंजीनियरिंग के बाद क्या करें It entirely depends on you. If you want to do fashion designing, do it. If you want to be a traveler, do it. Which language you are teaching, sir? Language doesn't matter. मैंने language की बात करी नहीं है. The implementation time is just 10 to 15 minutes for the whole stream. So don't focus on that. What mindset is required to ace DSA? So I don't know how many of you watched that. Like that intercom thing is there. Okay, I watched like by the way. So just kidding. ये सुभाष कॉलेज तो अच्छा है. I never told it is bad, but sister tier 3 college. Please start fastly. We'll be waiting for your guidance and DSA. चलो 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 चलो. बहुत ज़्यादा है वो बहुत ज़्यादा. J++. Okay, so I would just reply. I have a bookmark Jay's comment. I would just reply in between. So the number of queries are very huge. So at this point, I would just start because for the last half an hour, I have been speaking, replying doubts. Okay, chalo, start with. Chalo. So, which programming language you like the most? I like the most C++. Any. Will this. Bro, I have one. Yeah, start कर दे चलो. चलो, let's start. So I would quickly skip. Okay. So when I would be teaching, I would be using. Okay, when I would be teaching, I would be taking into consideration this template. Okay, this is the template. This is the input and output, and this is where I would write the code. Like let me just remove it. I'm using VS Code, and this is competitive. This is extension, CPH extension basically, and here I can just do this. So you would use a template for this. The template is this is including the STL. Okay, this is just including the STL. This is using the input output stream. This is using the input output stream. This is using the namespace std, and this is the main function, and the return type of the main function is 0. Let me just show you how it is. So let's say we would take int n, then we would take c in n, and then we would do n multiplied by 2 itself. So if I just give it the input, let's say I give it 5, it should output me 10. If I give it, let's say 7, it should output me 14. Now say it for yourself. Yes, 5, 10, 7, 14. So this is how the flow of the whole thing would be there. Okay, So this was it. Now let's move forward to the very next step. Okay. Mhm. Okay. So okay. So see it for yourself. That what are the pre? Let's talk about the first prerequisite of these all problems. Okay. Mhm. So let's talk about the prerequisite of this problem. So am I visible? Just let me see it for एक बार बस देख लेता हूँ. Okay. Many times this happens that I'm not visible. Okay. Okay. So what are the prerequisite of this? The prerequisite of this course is knowing the basic syntax. Okay. Like how to do input. What do you mean by basic syntax? By basic syntax, we mean just the input output, just the C in and C out. Okay. And printf, scanf, printf and scanf in C and in Java using the buffer reader and everything. This is input output stream. You need to know about this. You need to know about the very next thing as what is a function. Okay, what is a function? Then the very next prerequisite of this is the basic syntax system. When the basic syntax would be done, the very next prerequisite is nothing but learning about loops. The major kind of loop that you need to understand is for loop and while loop. You can skip do while loop at this instance. The very next thing that you need after the doing loops is conditional statement. Okay, what do you? So I would just write conditional statement, and here this just means that if statement. Now, so this is the basic syntax. Okay, you need to know about the input output stream and all. For loop, this is very important, understanding what is variables and all, what is, how does the counter work, what do you mean by while loop. Okay, and this is conditional statement. At this point you have one more thing which is completely optional, but it would be required very much, which is the bitwise. Okay, what do you mean by bitwise? Bitwise just means that at least know about and or not and solve. Okay, at least know about all this. This is very important. So you need tools, like if you are even trying to learn the basic ideas, still you would require the bitwise. If you are even targeting the service based companies or the product based companies, this is highly very important and this would come handy. And this was talking about the prerequisite of this. What are the problems that we would be doing today? Okay, the very first problem, let me just introduce you to the problem itself. The very first problem, let's talk about the very first problem. Okay, so the problem links. Okay, the problem links. Okay, so mhm, so see, the problem links, problem exist in description. Okay, the problems exist in description. Every day we would be solving 3 problems. Okay, how to see it for yourself, let me just show you that also. Okay, so see it for yourself that this is the link that is there on the description. Okay, this is the discuss section. Okay, what you can do is, if you are at the stream and if you like this, like this initiative should be done more. So see, more you liked free things, more things would be brought to you for free. A simple equation. Okay, so if people are liking the free content, then they would provide more. If people are liking the paid content, they would provide paid more. So as, like, if I was the user, I would have appreciated more the free content because I think education should be for free. So at least give your views over there in the discuss section, so that this thing can be justified and this thing could be appreciated. The very next thing is, you can read about this. This was all talking about what this is all about. Then the very next thing is, you should use this. Okay, day one. Okay, we would be solving one, two, three problems. The leftover problems would be your homework, and the problems that are solved, you need to have them. Okay, these are the YouTube links. You can directly jump onto that, and this would appear as you gradually move forward. Like till 12th of June, we have the link for even the YouTube. From 13th to 16th, you don't have the YouTube link, but you have the question link. Then 17th, people are making progress. The content team is making progress, and they would eventually add all the problems in this. Okay, so this was talking about what is the stream all about, or the prerequisite of this problem. If you're good enough, let's start with the very first problem, which is print and at Fibonacci series. But before we move forward, can I have a quick confirmation? Just reply me with a one, and I would be good enough to move forward. Just reply me with a one. Screen is not clear. Why? Which book is helpful for learning DS? Okay. So can you quickly reply me with a one that I'm pretty good to move forward. Else, if you have any more queries, you can just reply it. Okay. Thanks a lot, Parth Supekar. Thanks a lot, Mohammed. Sir, yes, your screen is not clear. Okay, can you please send me the material? Okay, just let me check. Mhm. The people can comprehend this. So don't know about you, bro, but for me, the screen is clear. This is at 360 pixels and it's clear. Still, if this is happening, like it might be a scenario, but if this is still happening for everyone, okay, fair enough. Let's move forward with the very first problem. Okay, so just give this problem a quick read. Okay, okay, so read this problem for around 1 minute and then we would move forward. This is stop the screen sharing. It's clear. Yep, I think so. It is clear. Okay, so just quickly read the problem. Thank you so much, Joel Mark JMG. Okay, by the way, sir, Madhula, you can call me bro. Okay, can you pass the thesis and QT? Yes, I think so. You should be able. Absolutely not. While solving, can you solve the zoom the screen a bit? Uh, yep, sure. While just implementation, I would zoom to this level, but while teaching, I would just try to write in a more enlarged way. Don't worry about that. Mhm. Okay, I think so. I'm done. So let's start. Okay, the first two in the series is 101. Okay. So let me just write it down. The sample test case n is equals to 5, and the output is 1, 1, 2, 3, 5. Fair enough. I think this is enough. Now let's move forward. Entire screen. Okay, fair enough. Now see. Now we have a very famous series known as Fibonacci series. Okay, so we have a thing known as Fibonacci series. Okay, Fib series. What is this Fib series? In this Fib series, we have the first, like this is a series, arithmetic progression, linear geometric progression, as you have learned in your initial days. Here also we are given the terms, but the first and the second term is already defined. Okay, please remember this, and you would come across this many times. Okay, here first and second are already defined. Okay, here you are told that the first term is equals to 1 and the second term is equals to 2. To visualize it, you can say that that this is a kind of series where we are given the first two initial position. So like let's say I am a kid. Okay, let's say I am a kid. My father got me into a school, provided me with an education, and then he told me to move forward in life. Okay, he told me, like this is just like this scenario, he told me to move forward in life and do something on my own. Okay, do something on my own. This is what basically Indian parents do, provide you with an education, and then they told you that you need to do something on your own. Okay, many, like I'm not talking about the other people who already have their family business and all. I'm not talking about, I'm just talking about the general scenario. So first and the second one is already defined, but the first one is 1 and the second one is also 1. So these data would help you to build out the rest of the terms. This data would help you. Okay. So just let me see if I'm having any doubts or something. Just let me have this turned on. Let me just monitor it. As the number of viewers are absolutely very high. Okay. You don't need to think about question. I would be the one explaining you the questions. Don't worry about that. Okay. So see here हमारे पास पहली दो टर्म दी गई है और यहाँ पर let's say we are given n as 5. So we need to provide 5 terms. Okay. We need to provide the first 5 terms. Now how the terms are divided, it is told that fib of n is equal to fib of n minus 1 added to fib of n minus 2. This is defined. Okay, so translating this in Hindi would be that fib of n क्या होता है, पिछले दो terms का addition. This is just the addition of previous two terms out there. Okay, so now let us see. Let's see 1. This is the first term which is defined here. Okay, this is the second term which is defined here. Okay, now if you see what is this 2, 2 is nothing but 1 plus 1, which is this one added to this one. Okay, then we have 1 plus 2 which is equals to this. Okay, then we have 2 plus 3 which is equals to this, which is equals to 5. And if we were to produce the sixth term, it would be 3 plus 5, and this value would be nothing but 8. Okay, so let's just add, like write few terms. Okay, this is very, like it is a little bit easy, on the easier side. So we can say that the first term we have is 1. Okay, let's just have some annotations also which would tell us which term is this. This is the first term, this is the second term, this is the third, this is the fourth, this is the fifth, this is the sixth. Let's have some spacing in between. So this is the first term, this is the second term, this is the third one, this is the fourth one, this is the fifth one, sixth, seventh, and eighth. मुंह दुख गया यार. Okay, so we are told that the first two terms are already given. Okay, चलते देखते हैं ना. First two terms are already given, that is 1 and 1. And now we have the third term, which is 1 plus 1, and this value would be equal to 2. Now we have 1 plus 2, which would be equal to 3. So this should be equal to 3. Now we have 2 plus 3, which is equals to 5. And then we have 3 plus 5, which is equals to 8. And then we have 5 plus 8, which is equals to 13. Then we have 13 plus 8, which is equals to 21. So this is how we would get the first 8 terms of the Fibonacci series. So first tell me if I'm clear with this or not. Victor. This is how you can just find out the Fibonacci series. Just give me a quick one if this thing is clear. So let's just say कि if we are given n as 3, so we would return these all. If we are given n as 5, so we would return this all. If we are given n as 7, so we would return this all. If we are given n as 8, we would return all this. If we are given n as 1, we would return this one. If we are given n as 2, we would return this one. Do I make sense to you? Give me a quick one. Easy, yeah? Let's make it a little bit fast. Okay. Chalo. We are good enough. In case you are not able to understand, consider asking me. I'm not the classical mentor of your college who would get irritated if you ask me. If you ask me, I would be more than happy to explain you again. But don't at least skip the basics. Okay? चलो देखते हैं किसी को कोई प्रॉब्लम. इफ यू हैव अ प्रॉब्लम रिप्लाई मी विद अ 0, एल्स रिप्लाई मी विद अ 1. पूरा क्लियर रखने तक की जरूरत नहीं है. You are not needed to write the whole thing in as clear. Okay, save your energy in your coding during the stream. After the stream you can just throw out your energy in the form of comments, which would make me smile at the end of the day. Think it in this scenario that if someone just gives you a comment on an Instagram post, you are happy and you read it again and again. So if a person like me receives a comment on an YouTube on such a big platform like X for Gigs, it makes me feel very good. So I think that you should do it. I'm just being a little bit honest. Okay, चलो आगे चलते हैं. Okay, so what we can do, how to solve up this problem in programming. Talking about pen and paper, we were able to solve it. But how to solve it in terms of programming? This is very easy. How? Again, if we are given 1, then we can simply say 1 is already defined. So I would write 1. If we are given 2, 2 is already defined, that is 1. Okay? And we need to return it in the form of vector, array list in Java, and dictionary in Python as well. Let me just see what is the scenario. Python. Def what you return a list. Okay, you need to return a list in Python. Okay, JavaScript you need to return a list also. Okay, fair enough. Let's go back to C++ and now let's move forward. Chalo. Okay, fair enough. Now let's see this. So 1 or 2 पे आया. If the value is given as 1 or 2, then we can handle it. अगर 1 और 2 दिया हुआ है तो ठीक है भैया, 1 और 2 तो पहले से पता है. So ये प्रोग्रामिंग में what we can do is we can simply keep 1 and 1 in the list, array list or vector. We can keep it. Let's talk about the next one. The next one is very easy. In every programming language, we have a thing known as size. Okay, we have a thing known as size. So what you can do is the value of the last element. Most of the programming language, the indexing is 0 indexed. So you would, let's say you would find the size. Okay, if you want to make it simple, So what I would do is, if I just keep it in a vector which is abbreviated as v, if I keep it in a vector which is abbreviated here as v, then what I would do is I would first find the size, that is v dot size, and that would be named as n, let's say. So what I would do is the last fib of I is equals to fib of I minus 1 added to fib of I minus 2, and that would solve the purpose. इतना ही simple है. Okay, let's try to solve it in. Okay, now to make things a little bit better, I would just screencast my tab only so that it would be more generic. Don't know vector, it's absolutely fine. You know about arrays, no? Same. Array has a fixed size, vector has a different size. But here this problem can be solved using arrays also. Don't worry about that. Okay. Let us first solve this in an array. Okay. Let's say यहाँ पे array return करना है. Okay. So what we would do is we would first have a vector in v of size n. Okay, what is this? This is nothing but an alternative of a of n, v of n. Okay, like this is an alternative of v of n. Simple enough. This is just v of n. Okay, now it is behaving like an array. Array जैसा ही behave करेगा. Now, the first value is 1. So I would say v of 0 is equals to 1 and v of 1 is equals to 1. And as both are 1, so what we can do is we can simply say v of 0 is equals to v of 1 is equals to 1. Now we can start off with int I is equals to 2. Okay, I is less than n and I plus plus. Okay, now I would say v of I is equals to v of I minus 1 added to v of I minus 2. Okay, and then we would simply return this. Now let us check on the sample test case. We would be getting an error if we submit this, so that I would only check on sample test case. Why error would be, I would tell you that. This is very important. If you are a newbie in programming, you would write this kind of code. Now let us just compile and run for the sample test case. Okay, vector of long. Okay, let's just change this to long because the values are very high. Okay, now to just compile and run and see. See, we are getting a correct output. But if we submit it, we would get a wrong answer. See, we are getting a desired output as correct. But if we submit this, we would get a wrong answer. Let us see why. Can you tell me why? Or leave it, don't tell everyone. I would tell you why. Okay, this is solved. Okay, you should get a wrong answer. Why? Because if the given value is just 1, if the given value is just 1, then if we just compile an output, if we just compile and run for just 1, the output we are receiving is for, like, the output we are producing is for 2, not just for a single element. So if n is equals to 1, हम लोग 2 को निकाल दे रहे हैं, 2 की वैल्यू निकाल रहे हैं. अगर n की वैल्यू 1 हुआ, उसे बस एक ही फिब बना के नंबर चाहिए, but we are giving it 2. So the ideal approach according to this question should be that if n is greater than 1, okay, like what is the lowest value of n? Let us see. The lowest value of n is 1. So if n is greater than 1, then only we would move forward to the next one, that is v of 1 is equals to 1. Okay, and remove v1 from here. Why? Because let's take the scenario that if given n is 1, then we are giving it 0 and 1. We are giving it 2 values, but it needs only 1 value. That is why it's better that we handle these all small bit of cases in the end also. Am I clear with the approach? Give me a quick one. After that, we would just move forward. Okay, explain vector, please. Don't learn about vector. This is just like long, long A dash B dash. Simple. Vector is not required, to be honest. Okay, leave about vectors. What is basically a vector? Vector is nothing but a dynamic sized array is known as vector. Okay, so this is simple. This code would be very similar to Java as well as for Python also. Like the Python, they won't have braces or something. Like this bracing thing won't be there, but other than that, everything would be same. No Java solution in there. Okay, you want me to solve in Java? Okay, let us see the Java code. Okay, this is just like this. Mhm. Instead of this, let's do this and name this as V. Done. This is Java code. Other than this, nothing would change. Okay. Anything more? Anything more you want? Please don't spam Srinjoy Dhar because it is not expected for a person who would be sitting for a technical job to spam in the chat. No Java solution is there. Yes, solution is there in Java. I solved it, but my accuracy is 33%. Don't don't see that thing. Array list. Yep, you can use array list also. Please Java plus DSA. So how to solve a big problem using DSA? Okay, so Java solution. Java solution 2 is this one. The same thing. Java solution is this one. Java. Yes, just declare this in the form of array. This is accepting the array only. See, this is accepting array only. So it's fine. You can just declare an array. Just declare an array. How to declare an array? You can declare an array by using this syntax. Let's solve it. This is what I named it as V. Okay. C++. Java. See. Same code. I just copy pasted it. Solved. Java भी हो गया. Riri, I deserve a chocolate from you all. People who were shouting Java, 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 I deserve a chocolate from you all. Srinjoy, a chocolate from you too. Shamshad, chocolate from you too, brother. Please explain once more, Bhaiya. Sure, I would. That's my job. So why it's vector long instead of vector long? I don't know about C++. Ignore it. Know about Java. This is the Java code. Because the reason for that is you can skip it at this point of time, but still just telling you the reason in case you just come back after learning. Okay, the thing is the Fibonacci series is growing. Okay, the Fibonacci series value is growing and the value is much greater than 10 to the power 9. That is why we are using long for this. we need to add the loop in the if block too. We need to add the loop in. As of now, you can just simply ignore the loop. V of 1 is equals to 1. Ignore the loop. I just told you कि सबसे सही solution क्या हो सकता है. Okay. Yes, you need to. Yes, why? Because it happened. Why? Because n is equals to 1. So we are declaring an array of size 1, and then we are declaring two values. We are trying to access the. So we are getting index out of bound. So here समझो कि n का value 1 है. So we are declaring an array of size 1, but we are trying to access the index 1, which is not present. That is why. See, index out of bound. That is why. This gives you this. Is if you want this code to be clean, what you can do is you can simply have this one, and this would always have the buttons. Can you take lecture in Python? I'm not confident enough in Python. In spite, I'm good at Django and DRFM work. It would be better if I saw the pseudo code so that I'm not bothered by, like, it is a pseudo code because just copy pasting the same thing worked for different language. So I think it is originally a pseudo code. But still, I show the pseudo code when it is required, when I can't copy paste in different language. We can simply use a for loop and sequence Amazon for our method, which is then why to use vector group because vectors are better than arrays for C++. Is any more optimized way to do this? No, absolutely not. Why didn't showed error in C++ without the if statement? Okay, it didn't showed the error in C++ without the if block because as far as I know, the backend solution is printing up till the index n. Okay, can you please explain me line number 50? Okay, absolutely. So basically, to get the value of fib of I, it is the sum of previous two terms. So the previous two terms would be stored in I minus 1 and I minus 2. What this is all about, let me just show you this also. So see this, then you would understand. See, first we are declaring for 1 and 2. Okay. Then suppose we want to get the value at index 3. So 3 minus 1 is equals to 2 and 3 minus 2 is equals to 1. So I minus 1 minus 2, this is the sum of both of them. Then 2 plus 3 is the value at 4. Then 3 plus 4 is the value at 5 itself. Then 4 plus 5 is the value at 6 itself. Okay, 5 plus 5, that is 5 plus 8 is the value at this one. So previous two terms, okay, this is the value. Picture quality is blur? No, absolutely not. I think, yes, we have a DP solution, but the DP solution has the time complexity that is big often. You can't really narrow down the time complexity even by using DP. Can you explain this in DP? This is why if statement. Because let's see the scenario of this also. So full screen, entire screen. Okay. Why do we have the if statement? So let's understand this. Let's say the value of n is equals to 1. But if we already have, like if we are declaring an array of size 1, so it just means that it would have one place. But here we are doing v of 0 is equals to v of 1. So we are accessing the second index without really knowing that second index is present or not. It might be a scenario that n value is 1 and second index is not present. Second index is not present. Okay. Let's say, what is the scenario? Okay. Let's say I am a let's say I'm an individual and I want to go on a coffee date. Okay, let's say on a coffee date with my girlfriend, but I am single. Okay, so I'm trying to access a thing which is not present. Then it would tell me index out of bound. What is this error called as? This error is called as index out of bound. Remember this, index out of bound. Okay, so यहाँ पे क्या हुआ, वी आर डिक्लेयरिंग एन array ऑफ साइज 1, बट हम यहाँ पे इस v ऑफ 1 से सेकंड वाली इंडेक्स भी एक्सेस करने की कोशिश कर रहे थे। अगर सेकंड वाली इंडेक्स तो है ही नहीं, बिकॉज मैंने तो साइज 1 की array बिल्ड करी है। इसके वजह से ये चीज मुझे इंडेक्स आउट ऑफ बाउंड ये वाली एरर दे रही थी। ओके, do I make sense now? Why? So that is why before we move to the second index, we are checking if n is greater than 1 or not. If n is greater than 1, then that confirms that second index is present. So I can say that before going on a coffee date with my girlfriend, I would first check if I have a girlfriend or not. Simple. Chalo. Do I make sense? Give me a quick yes or no. That is why this if statement is there. Can you explain this in recursion optimized solution in DP? Basically, DP has the same time complexity. Space optimization can't be done. Neither space optimization, neither a space, neither a time complexity optimization can be done. Okay, these all examples that I use are irrelevant to my personal life. Just confirming this. That doesn't mean that I am committed or I'm single. Just telling you that these all illustrations or these all examples that I take are just for making this stream in a fun way. थोड़ा हंसी मजाक में पार करने के लिए. But this doesn't have any relation with my personal life. Okay, but that doesn't imply कि मैं कोई committed हूँ या मैं committed नहीं हूँ. Okay, चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. Okay, fair enough. Okay, what is the time complexity? Okay, so zonal pressure. Am I clear to you? Okay, fair enough. What did you say about what did you say about recursive solution? Vector in long इनका sense क्या है? Just search vector. I have used vector for my solution. Okay, fair enough. Now let's talk about the time complexity of the solution. Okay, क्या है time complexity? Okay, let's talk about the time complexity of the solution. The time complexity of this solution is that at each point we are just doing an addition operator. Okay, that what are we doing at each point? We are doing v of I is equals to v of I minus 1 added to v of I minus 2. So I found out that this is the addition operator. Remember that addition, multiplication, subtraction, and division, they all have constant contribution to time complexity. Okay, that is why I can say that for building one Fibonacci number, we are doing const one operation. Okay, so for building n Fibonacci numbers, we are doing n operation. So the time complexity of this approach is nothing but big O of n. Okay, and what is the space complexity? जितने numbers है उतने हम लोग ब्लॉक्स यूज कर रहे हैं अरे के. Okay, let's say the given value is 5. Okay, so it is 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, it is 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so mhm, if n is equals to 5, we would be using this much space. If n is equals to 6, we would be using this much space. 7, this much space. So one space is a constant. So for so the time space complexity is nothing but big of n again. Number of n is equals to the number of blocks we are using. That is why the space complexity as well as the time complexity is big of. Dhire dhire you will understand it much better. The time complexity. When we would do the time complexity analysis for each of the problem. Okay. So am I clear with the very first code? So debugging each and everyone's code in a stream of more than 150 people live is a time waste, I think so. If you want this to be checked without wasting others' time, just give me the code. Just take that code, give it to a person whom you know is good in coding. If still he is not able to help and you are getting no help outside, then send me the code for me and I would take some time out of my full time job and my passion for teaching and my personal life and I would review it. It would take a little bit of time, so don't get impatient. चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. Can I move forward to the next problem? If you're comfortable with me moving forward to the next problem, give me a quick one, else give me a zero that you want me to just do anything. Let's talk about how valuable is coding in the market even after ChatGPT. So basically, as of now, companies are getting a little bit deviated towards the development, but still, coding is very relevant in the market and it is valued the most. Okay, like this DSA thing is valued the most because Chat GPT is not coding by himself. You need to be a decision maker for Chat GPT to make things on his own. Okay, in spite of him being an AI, he won't understand your needs. You need to prompt your needs to Chat GPT and he would solve the purpose. But वो अकेले घर नहीं चला सकता. Okay, can I have a bit more reply? The number of live viewers at this stream is much more than 100. So can I have more people like replying this? Can you please increase the number of likes? Okay. Should we use include or C++? This is just basically to include all the STL libraries. Okay. So the thing is that let's say I want to eat paneer today for dinner, but I brought everything out there on the market. Okay, but I ate only paneer. Okay, this is an inefficient approach. What I need, like suppose I want to eat paneer and I bought it and I ate it. This was initializing upon the need. So initializing upon the need should be done, but this statement include bit slash stdc++.h is just like bringing everything from the market and then using of our own uh, like of our own requirement. But it is used a lot in online judge because online judge पे ये फर्क नहीं पड़ता कि आप सारे libraries एक साथ ही क्यों ना include करें. Okay, it doesn't makes a difference in an online judge if you just include everything, but it's not a good practice in general. Okay, others, can I have a quick reply from everyone? Okay. By the way, if I just mentioned the thing, that is LinkedIn URL. So if you want to connect with me, like if you want to ask me anything, or if you want to connect with me, here this is my LinkedIn ID. You can just go on it and you can just send me a connection request. If anyone is starting, it entirely depends कि आपके लिए pro क्या है. What is the definition of pro at your end? For someone, being pro is being the best at college. For someone, being pro is best among the world. For someone, being pro is best among the country. In MySQL, can we have a recursive solution when the function returning vectors? Yes, we can, but that would be an overkill for beginners because I do assume beginners are not very acquainted, and it is a very rare probability that the person would ask you to solve for a recursive because the recursive solution would have a greater time complexity. Okay, so at this point, I think so. Okay, so let me just share like. And by the way, just telling you because I am seeing people just sending me informal messages. So if you want to send me, like if you want to do some chit chat or something, I don't think LinkedIn is a professional network to do chit chat on things which are not relevant. So what you can do is you can just use this handle. Okay, so yes, I really. This is where you can do chit chat of with your mentor. But LinkedIn is not a place where you can just do chit chat. Yes, absolutely, I would accept it after the stream because if stopping the stream and accepting the connection request is not a relevant thing. As vectors, what is the GSA? Can you tell please? Yes, absolutely. You don't need to ask. Say please. It is array list in Java. Okay, this is my Instagram handle. So consider talking informally in Instagram, not in LinkedIn. Okay, what is the expected answer if more than 86 as mentioned in the answer? When we have to start CP, it is important. If you have the time frame more than a year, you should start CP. Else, you should first grab a job and then you should start CP. Okay, what is the expected answer if more than 86 as mentioned in the answer? I don't get yours. Okay, so I think I can move forward. No, it doesn't. Okay, fair enough. Let's move to the next problem. Insta पर follow back मिलेगा. Ask me for a follow back. I would do it. But like ask me for a follow back or at least tell me your reference. Okay, ऐसा नहीं है कि I don't follow, but it's just like my account is a public one. So at least tell me that I found you from here. So I would just give you a follow back. Like I found you from here, like the reference. Just tell me the reference where you found me. Just go to the next Chrome tab, majority element. Yep, sure. Okay, read the question and read the question for the next 1 minute. This is the link of the question. Consider doing it. Okay, how do you have that thing? I'm not getting it. Okay, this is from Dark Reader. This changes everything to dark. But I'm like everywhere I have dark thing. Okay, my phone, like if you just ask me, everywhere it's dark. My phone, my laptop, my iPad, everyone has dark thing. So I just find a way to everything, making it dark. Okay, just quickly read the problem. When you're done reading the problem, give me a quick one in the chat. Like, yes, Siddharth, I'm done reading the problem. You can start with the explanation. Okay, I think we are pretty good to move forward with the explanation. So let's move forward. Mhm. Good enough. Let me just go to this. Okay, so let's just give like majority of the it appears more than n by 2 times. Yes, absolutely. Here in this question, you are told that you are given a data structure of array, and then you are asked about the frequency of the element. Okay, like the elements can be 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay, like the elements can be like this, and it is telling me that you need to report one element whose frequency is more than n by 2. Okay, so return the element whose frequency is more than n by 2. Okay, just like if you see the frequency of like the sum of like the value of n is what? N is nothing but the size of the element. Okay, let me just write it. N is nothing but size of the array. Okay, now the very next thing is, what is n here? N is 1. Okay, what is the value of n here? The value of n is 1, 2, 3. Mhm. Okay, the value of n here is 1, 2. What is this happening? Okay, the value of n is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, the value of n is 7. So n by 2, what is the value of n by 2? N by 2 is nothing but 3.5. Okay, so 3.5 is 7 divided by 2, which is 3.5. Now let's just see which all elements have more than 3.1 as 5 as frequency. The frequency of 1 is how much? 1, 2, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The frequency of 1 is 5. And let's see the frequency of 2. The frequency of 2 is just 1. So the frequency of 1 is more than 3.5. So I would say 1 is the majority element. 1 is the majority element. Translating the whole question into a single package would be that we are given an array like this. Okay, translating this in Hindi, हम लोगों के पास एक एरे है जिसमें बहुत सारे एलिमेंट्स है, हमें वो वाली एलिमेंट रिपोर्ट करनी है जिसकी फ्रीक्वेंसी n/2 से ज़्यादा है। फ्रीक्वेंसी मतलब कितने बार वो एलिमेंट प्रेजेंट है। ओके, नाउ फर्स्ट टेल मी इफ आई एम क्लियर विद द प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट और नॉट। जस्ट गिव मी अ क्विक वन। If I'm clear with the problem statement, then it's a majority, otherwise not. So first tell me if I'm clear with the problem statement or not. This problem seems to be a very easy problem, but it uses Moore's voting algorithm under the hood. The most optimized version uses Moore's voting algorithm under the hood. So don't just take this problem like it is very easy, to be honest. Okay, let's just move forward to the next thing. That is, like, what can be the approach to solve up this problem? Okay. Mhm. Yes, trick questions like Moore's voting algorithm are asked in an interview. Be ready. Okay, let's talk about the very simple idea of this problem. What we would do is we would simply count the frequency of everything. This is approach one. Okay, this is AP1. This is approach one. I won't waste much time with this. So approach one is nothing but count the frequency of each element. Okay. If anyone has a frequency greater than n/2, if anyone's frequency, any, let me just take a bright color. Mhm. If any frequency is greater than n/2, then we would return that element. Return that element. Okay. Now you would ask me that it might be a scenario that more than one element can have n/2 frequency. No, it can't have, because let's say we have n/2, more than one n/2. More than n/2 is what? Let's say one element has n/2 plus 1, and we have another element as n/2 plus 1 frequency. Okay, let's just add it. So n/2 added to n/2, and this is adding 1. This is n plus 2, and n plus 2 is greater than n. So n plus 2 elements तो कभी हमारे पास हो ही नहीं सकते। ओके, n plus 2 elements तो हमारे पास कभी भी नहीं हो सकते। That is why there won't be ever a condition where more than one element would have more than n/2 elements. That is why whenever we hit the condition that any element has a frequency greater than n/2, we would simply return that element and we won't move forward. And neither there can be any condition where majority elements can be present. Only a majority element can be present, not elements. Okay, I think I made a valid point in this. So just tell me, this is the very first approach. Okay, so am I clear with the very first approach? Like the implementation of this approach would be like, let me just implement it in the in here itself, like just telling you the pseudo code of this. you can simply use a hash map for this. Okay, what is basically hash map? And hash map is basically whenever, like, what is hash map and how do we come to the conclusion that a hash map is required? जब भी whenever you have this thing in mind that I need to remember something, whenever you have this thing in mind that I need to remember the frequency, okay, remember the frequency, then I need something known as hash map. Okay, जब भी मुझे फील करना होता है मैं दिल की सुनता हूँ, जब भी मुझे कुछ याद रखना होता है मैं दिमाग से काम लेता हूँ. Okay, whenever I want to feel anything, I would do that with my heart. Whenever I want to remember anything, I do that with my brain. In the same manner, whenever I want to remember anything, I would do that with the help of something known as hash map. Okay, hash map is known as map or unordered map in C and C++, and hash map is called as hash map only in Java. Okay. So this is the very first implementation. So what I can do is you can simply use a hash map. You can hash all the values, then you can iterate over the hashed values, and then you can say the first element which has a frequency greater than n by 2 is our majority element. Do I make do I make sense? Just give me a quick 1 or 0. Okay, because map is more optimized. Okay. Still, just maintain the decorum of making this beginner friendly. थोड़ा आप भी सह लो, थोड़ा किसी कोई और का भी हेल्प हो जाएगा. Okay, you are revising your basics and someone is learning the basics, so I respect both the approach. Okay, then if I know, like, if I take up your approach, like, if I know Moore's voting algorithm, I shouldn't teach you. I should only teach you what I don't know. That would only help me. That is not. You should share what is there. We can't. We take a map and store every content because yep. Okay. Map is a more optimized approach. Okay. Fair enough. Now we would learn something known as Moore's voting algorithm. Okay. Moore's voting algorithm. What is the idea of Moore's voting algorithm? Let me just explain you that. So, am I clear with the very first approach? First, quickly tell me, give me a one, and then I can move forward with the next optimized approach. And why do we really need the optimized approach? This is very important, to be honest. Chalo, jaldi, 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 jaldi. Give me a quick reign of one, and then I will move forward to the optimized approach. And why do we really require the optimized approach? Baki, only three people are learning from this. Because I'm not presenting my board. I'm waiting for the people sending me one. Because the number of viewers are more than 100 and the number of people replying are less than 20. And this is just not fair. So I just want to know कि आपको समझ आ रही चीज़ें कि नहीं. Do I need to change my approach? Do I need to increase my pace? Do I need to decrease my pace? It would confirm me this. Okay. Now let us understand this. Mhm. Okay. Say this very carefully. Okay. So now, if I just go back here, we are storing each element. Let's say we are having elements as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's say we have 5 elements. Then we need to store every one of them, like 1 with a frequency of 1, 2 with a frequency of 1, 3 with a frequency of 1, 4 with a frequency of 1, and 5 with a frequency of 1 itself. Let me just see if I'm visible or not. Mhm. That's okay. So now the number, if the elements are unique, then we would require, if the elements are unique, then we would require n position to store values, to store values. So the space complexity is big O of n. Okay. If you use a good hashing, मतलब कहीं पे अच्छी जगह याद कर रहे हो, ओके, लाइक कहीं अच्छी जगह, मतलब मेरी दिमाग बहुत शार्प है और वो एकदम रिसेंट मेमोरी में है, सो उसे उसे रिट्रीव करने के लिए मुझे कम टाइम लगेगा. If something is there in my recent memory and it is very relevant in my mind, okay, let's say I had date last night, okay, so I would be able, like I'm remembering it and I'm smiling at it, then I would be able to retrieve it in my memory in a very short period of time. In the same manner, if you're using a good hash map, the retrieval time or the hashing time is a constant. Okay, so for retrieving one element, you would require one operation because it would be considered as a constant. So for retrieval of, so for a retrieval of n elements, it would be an operation. Okay, so I can say now that the space complexity is big of n because if the elements are unique, we would require n spaces to store them. The time complexity is also big of n if we have a very good hashing data structure, but constant time में वो मुझे लाके देता है. Okay, so I can say this is the space complexity as well as the time complexity. Okay, so now quickly tell me if I'm clear with the space and time complexity. Now let's say I'm at an interview and the interviewer is asking me, like programming is all about optimization, that the interviewer asking me that, hey Siddharth, can you reduce the time space complexity of this? Can you lower down the space complexity? And I said, yes, I can lower down the space complexity by using an algorithm which is known as Moore's voting algorithm. Okay, Moore's voting algorithm. What is this Moore's voting algorithm? We would see to it. But tell me first, why do we require Moore's voting algorithm? Is clear or not? Otherwise, like if you learn an algorithm and if you don't know why we require that algorithm, it is absolutely pointless. So first tell me if why do we really require Moore's voting algorithm is clear to you or not. First tell me. I would explain the concept of Moore's voting algorithm. But tell me first if why do we really require is clear or not. I would explain. Don't worry. I would explain the concept of Moore's voting algorithm. वही मेरा काम है. But क्यों चाहिए? See, everyone out there on the internet can explain you what is Moore's voting algorithm. Even you can read it. But knowing the importance or the need of Moore's voting algorithm is much more important. Tell me, movie house, like what is not clear to you, and I would be more than happy to explain it. Tell me. Tell me, movie house. I would be waiting for the next 1 minute just for you. This algorithm, I would do it. We use to reduce time complexity, space complexity. The simple reason is to reduce the space complexity. What is the space complexity? It is big O of n. Okay, चलो मूव करते हैं. थोड़ा सा रुक करते हैं. Let me just drink some water. Let's move forward. Fan on कर लो. No, at this point of time, I am good with AC. Like I don't really need the fan, and I don't think AC is making disturbance to other of you. Okay, so I have my AC turned on. Don't worry. By the way, thanks a lot. Okay, चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. वरना नोएडा के गर्मी like at this weather of Noida, I would have been drenched with sweat. Okay, fair enough. Let's move forward. What is Moore's voting algorithm? Moore's voting algorithm tells us, like the intuition behind Moore's voting algorithm is that if an elements, okay, this is not a bookish definition, this is the definition that I have comprehended from what I have observed from the algorithm. I'm not running behind the bookish definition. Please don't write it down in a university exam. You might fall into trouble. Might fall into trouble. Okay. If an element, okay, if an element's frequency is more than n by 2, if an element's frequency is more than n by 2, then it is told that, like, what we can, if an element's frequency is more than n by 2, then what we can do is we can keep a counter. Okay, we can keep a counter. We can keep a counter. Okay, and then we say that, let's say we saw the very first element as, this is just like this, a b b b, and then I will say a. Okay, and then let's say one more b. Okay, so now just see this with care. Okay, the number of b is how much? The number of b is 4, number of a is 3, and what is the value of n? The value of n is 7. 7 divided by 2 is equals to 3.5. So we know here at this point that b is the majority element. We know b is the majority element. Now let us understand how it is working. We just keep a counter, okay, and initialize it with 0, and initially we also keep a value. Okay, let's say we keep a value known as val, and we just assign it with the very first element that is present. So we just keep it as a. Okay, now, and we would increase when we would assign the value at val, or you can, what you can do is you can directly increase the counter at c is equals to 1. Okay, I say val is equals to a, c is equals to 1. Now we saw a different element, okay, other than val. So what we would do is, other than val likha, so we would decrease the counter. Okay, we would decrease the counter first to 0. Okay, we would decrease the counter at 0. First tell me if these all annotations are like, how, what is this majority element and all. Am I clear with this or not? Okay, we would decrease the counter first. If after decreasing the counter c of 0, c becomes 0, then we would replace the element. उस element को ही replace कर दो. Replace it with the element that we are considering now, that is b. Now val is b and c is again equal to 1. Okay, next we again saw a b, and now this element is equal to the val, so we would increase the counter. अगर सेम एलिमेंट है तो इंक्रीज द काउंटर, डिफरेंट एलिमेंट है तो डिक्रीज द काउंटर. इफ इट बिकम 0, सो जो वैल्यू अभी दिख रहा है उसे ही असाइन कर दो. ओके, देन वी आर अगेन वॉचिंग अ बी. we would, this is equal to val what we have, so we would increase the counter. Chalo, then we again saw a which is not equal to val, so we would decrease the counter. Counter didn't become 0, so we would keep doing. Then we again see a which is not equal to val. Not equal to val, decrease the counter, decrease it to 1. Then we again saw a b which is equal to val, so we would increase the counter. At the end, whatever is stored in the val is the majority element. Majority element. The intuition for this, or the idea of this whole Moore's voting algorithm, is that if the frequency of a particular element is more than n by 2, this counter would never let him lose. Okay, this counter would never become 0 for b. Okay, till the end. एंड में जाके जो एलिमेंट ग्रेटर देन n by 2 है वो असाइन इस पे हो ही जाएगा. Why? Because it's giving you the intuition. Like let's say the frequency is more than n by 2. So his weightage on the counter would be much more than all the other element. Okay, यहाँ पे सारे b मिलके भी, सारे a मिलके भी b को नहीं हरा सके. Okay, so that is why even if every other element is a single element, like every other element is a, and there is only one element like n by 2 which is more than n by 2, still it can't defeat. This is how the major concept of majority element works. So now I can say that quickly take a screenshot. Okay, if the current element we are considering is equal to val, then we would increase the counter. Okay, then we would do c++. If a of I is not equal to val, then we would first, what we would do, we would first decrease the counter. If after decreasing, if after decreasing, if c becomes 0, then val would be replaced with a of I. Okay, this is the pseudocode of this. Please take a screenshot. This whole thing sums up Moore's voting algorithm. This whole thing sums up Moore's voting algorithm in specific. Okay, this whole thing sums up Moore's voting algorithm. Okay, this is how, if it is the same element, it would increase. If it is a different element, this would increase. If that is the third element, this would increase. Else, this would increase. And this is V of I plus I. Please remember this. Now, I think you have taken a screenshot. If not, you can go back to the stream. Now tell me if the idea is clear to you or not, and then I would move forward to the implementation. Does it mean if the counter is 0, there is no majority element? Lower down. Does it mean the counter there is no majority element? No. The Moore's building algorithm is built in such a way that end पे जाके majority element would get tied to the value. Okay, so this majority element thing I have summed up in just 2 lines. So am I clear? Give me a quick 1 in the chat and then I would move forward to the implementation. So why do we have to initialize the val variable with the very first array element? Because we need like because that is a common procedure. You can start from the back and you can assign the very back element also. The people out there on the internet follow this procedure of assigning it as the very first element. But now let me show you a problem in this approach. Okay, let me show you a problem in this approach. Okay, like is the condition mentioned in the question? Yep, this condition is mentioned in the question. Now let us see this. Now, if you just see the same algorithm, okay, just so that you are, I think you have now memorized what is this algorithm all about. So now let us just understand this. Mhm. Okay. So now let us see this. Let's say we have one. Let's take the values only. Let's say we have A, B, C, D, and E. Okay. So now we would start with the very first idea. What is the val? So initially the value of the val is A and C is equals to 1. And the element we are considering is this. Then we move to the next element. Then we see, let me just see if I'm visible or not. Yep. So then we see that we again have an A which is the val. So we would increase the counter. Now we would again go to B which is not equal to val. So we would decrease the counter. Then we are going to C which is not equal to val. So we would decrease the counter. C became 0. So we would update it with C. Now we got D. Okay, this would be equal to 1 because we got C. Now we again got D. So D is not equal to what was stored in the val. So we would decrease the counter of C. Now C became 0. That means val needs to be updated. So it would be updated to D. Okay. Now this one would become 1. Now we got to C. E. E is not equal to val. After subtracting it becomes 0. So we would need to update it with E and this as 1. In the end, we have E as the majority element. E as the majority element. But if you observe that the number of elements in A, B, C, D, E is like A 2 times, the number of elements is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and the frequency of A is 2, the frequency of B is 1, C is 1, D is 1, and this one is 1. So we don't have any majority element. So even if we don't have majority element, still we are getting output by using this Moore's voting algorithm. See it for yourself. So we come to the conclusion that after we get the value from Moore's voting algorithm, we need to check if it is true. Okay? Matlab, let's say you are very insecure in your relationship. Okay? Okay, so like you have a very insecure mind, so whatever your partner is saying you are trying to re-verify it. So in the same manner, I'm very insecure about Moore's voting algorithm's result. So whatever the result is, okay, we need to confirm the result from Moore's algorithm. Okay, why? Because I don't trust it. Okay, let's just write it down. Okay, I don't trust. Okay. let's say. Okay, chalo. So this is a clear example of where Moore's voting algorithm fails. So when a majority element is not present, the Moore's voting algorithm would still tell you that majority element is present, and you need to confirm that. Okay, so whatever the value we are obtaining from the Moore's voting algorithm, we really need to verify if we have that as the correct answer or not. I hope I make sense. Give me a quick 0 or 1 and then we will move forward to the implementation and it will be good enough. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, can I have a quick one if this thing is clear and then we would move forward to the implementation. उसके बाद ये stream खत्म करते हैं. So those more than 100 people are investing their time. Quickly give me a one for the last time and then they would end the stream after doing some little bit of chit chat and you can skip that chit chat because that chit chat is not necessary. Okay. So, how to decrease the space complexity? See, after discussing the approach, if I directly start discussing the space complexity, it would be a little bit difficult. Why? Because you won't learn the art of finding the space complexity from the code itself. So, by looking at the code, you should know how to get the space complexity. So, that is why after implementation, we would see if we have the space complexity or not. What is the space complexity? Now the idea is very simple. What we would do is instead of this size, we would use it n. Okay. Then we have c is equals to 0. And then we have the val thing as a is equals to 0. That is the very first element. Okay. Now we would say for int I is equals to 0, I is less than n and I plus plus. Okay. We can directly start off with 1. Okay. And this as 1. Initially c is equals to 1 and value is equals to the first element. Now we would say if the current element is equal to the val, then we would increase the counter. If that is not the scenario, then we would decrease the counter. If after decreasing it becomes less than 1, okay, less than 1 means what? 0. If it becomes 0, then we would make val as the current element, okay, and then after that we would make c is equals to 1, okay. At the end, we would have the majority element if it is present in the val. But what if the majority element is not present? So I don't trust this Moore's voting algorithm. So I need to recheck it if it is present, if it is correct or not. So let's use the same counter C for counting the frequency of val in the array. So I would simply iterate again from the whole array, and if the current element is equals to val, okay, I would increase the counter. एंड एंड में मतलब जो भी वैल्यू आई हैव रिटर्न मैं एक बार जाके फिर से देख लूंगा ये मेजॉरिटी एलिमेंट है इसको जरा फिर से काउंट करना तो मैं फिर से काउंट कर लिया इफ आफ्टर ऑल ऑफ दिस इफ सी इज ग्रेटर देन n by 2 अगर मूरे ने सच बात कही है so we would return whatever was with val whatever he has written अगर मूरे ने गलत बात कही है कि मेजॉरिटी एलिमेंट तो प्रेजेंट ही नहीं है बट इट इज स्टिल गिविंग इट इफ मूरे इज लाइंग and if Mure is telling me the correct one, yes, Mure is telling me, yes, this is the majority element, I confirmed it. Then I would return whatever Mure has given me. If this is not the scenario, then what I would return? I would return minus 1, that this element is not present. How do I know that I need to return minus 1? It is written here. If no majority element exists, return minus. Okay? So now to just compile and see how many errors are we getting. Okay, now just submit it. Okay, now let's talk about what is the time complexity of the solution. चल time complexity की भी बात कर लेते हैं. Now, okay, let's do the time complexity analysis in here only. Like, okay, So this was just using the if statement. So I told you that assignment, checking, multiplication, division are constant operation. So this is what? This is big O of 1. This is constant operation. Remember. And then this is also constant operation because assignment मतलब equals, double equals, checking, and or ये सारे is constant. So this is also constant. Okay, this is also constant. Whatever we are doing at this point is also constant. Now here also ये भी constant होगा because we are checking one element. So in one operation of the loop, we are not doing more than constant operation. So for one element, we are doing constant operation. Okay. So for n elements, we would do 1 into n multiplying n on both sides is big O of n itself. Okay. So it's fine. Now we would go down to this. What is the space complexity? We are not using any array here to store the frequency. We are just using variables. So just remember it. Remember this as the golden thing. जितना भी variables use कर लो, जितना भी variables. Use as many variables you like. Use 1 crore variables, use 2 crore variables, use 3 crore variables. That won't make a difference. In spite of the number of variables, in spite of how many variables you use, variables always contribute how much? Constant time, constant space. So here we are only using variables. So it's very simple that the time complexity is constant. Because जितना भी variables use करें 1, 100, 200, 1 lakh, 2 lakh, the contribution by the variables in space complexity would be constant. Okay. So this was the Moore's voting algorithm. This was like I did talk about. Can you please explain again from line number 30? Line number 30. We're just confirming. That's see. Moore's voting algorithm हमें गलत वैल्यू भी रिटर्न कर सकती है. So हम लोग फिर से एक बार इटरेट करके देख रहे हैं कि what is the frequency of the value returned by Moore's voting algorithm. If the frequency is greater than n by 2, we would do. Now, let's just have this in Java also. This is very easy. Just do it in there. Let's just compile and run. Every time, like learn the art, like I'm just telling you that every time the mentor, like if you are a self-taught programmer, if you are a like, let me just show you. So if you are a self-taught programmer, this is absolutely a very rare possibility that the person whose major is C++ would do Java coding for you. A person whose major is Java would do C++ coding for you. Okay. So when I started off with Java, because I was from ICSE background, I learned the syntax of C++ too, so that I don't need to ask again and again. And like I'm not like I don't want like मैंने इसीलिए बोला कि मैं पहले जावा से कर दूंगा. But the thing is, like when the stream has ended, the last like my final words would be that know the syntax of C plus Java or C plus plus, the vice versa language, so that you won't need to ask the mentor, and not every time the mentor would be humble enough or he would be free enough to give you the code in both the language. So at least just know the basic syntax so that you can understand the language code in both the language. Understand the basic syntax. By the way, there was no change of syntax for Java as well as for C++. The same code did run for both of the language. Okay. So isn't so we are using array a in function. So isn't it counted in the space complexity? Joe, see, to be honest, practically yes. Okay, like if you go to the technical details, yes. But if you're given this in an interview, though the data they are giving, they don't consider it as a part of space or time complexity. The processing you are doing is contributes to space and time complexity. Nice selection of problems. Thank you so much. Please explain line number 44. If c is equals to 0, अगर c वाला काउंटर 0 हो जा रहा था तो हम लोग क्या कर रहे थे, वो न्यू वाला वैल्यू जो आ रहा था वो उस पे असाइन कर देते थे. सेम थिंग. If c becomes a value, then we are assigning it. Can you see the edge cases where this would fail? No, this won't fail in any edge cases. Okay, so Devjyoti is the person who has, like, I just confirmed it. Devjyoti Mandal is the person who is the designated person for selecting the selection of problems. Like, if you like the problem set of selection of problems, you can just thank Devjyoti. What is the frequency? And the frequency max element is 3. The output would be -1. Yes, the output would be -1 because it is clearly mentioned that the frequency of that element should be greater than, more than n by 2, and it is written in bold. So, for the last 1 minute, we would have an ask, like, do we have any doubts? I would be waiting for the last 1 minute. Else, I would be just turning off the stream. So, my final words would be, if you are watching the stream in the recorded version, kindly comment and like the video and share this video so that the reach of this video could be increased and this work could be justified. I can have a smile on my face, and the very next thing is, if free things are promoted more, then free things will be given more. Good night, everyone. Problem 3 would be a homework for you. Okay, so that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed the session. I tried my level best on a Saturday evening to provide you, like on a weekend, to provide you with the content. Thank you, everyone. No, there exists no test cases where it would fail. Goodbye.